Have you ever finished breakfast and still felt tired, achy, or foggy, even though you thought you ate something light or healthy? Maybe it was a bowl of cereal, a slice of toast with jam, a glass of juice, or even a piece of bacon to give you some energy. These are the kinds of breakfasts many of us grew up with. They're fast, familiar, and comforting. But what if I told you that some of the most common breakfast foods eaten by seniors are quietly fueling inflammation in your body every single day? Inflammation is like a slow-burning fire. You can't always feel it, but over time, it damages your joints, clouds your thinking, increases your risk of heart disease, and makes chronic pain worse. And one of the biggest sources of inflammation for older adults? It's not just lack of exercise or stress, it's what you put on your breakfast plate. As we get older, our bodies become more sensitive to sugar, processed grains, and chemical additives. Foods that used to feel harmless when we were younger, like sweet cereals or white bread toast, now send our blood sugar soaring, put stress on our immune system, and leave us with more aches, fatigue, and inflammation than we realize. The result? We wake up hoping to feel better, but our breakfast is actually setting us back. The good news is, you don't have to skip breakfast. You just have to be smarter about it. In today's video, we're going to uncover the most common inflammatory breakfast foods that older adults eat every day without realizing the damage they're causing. We'll also show you how to swap them for better, more nourishing choices that reduce inflammation, improve energy, and protect your joints, brain, and heart. I know you are a person who likes to watch videos quietly. If you have not liked and subscribed to the channel, now is a good time to do it because you are a kind person. If the video is helpful, press 1. If the video is not good enough or needs improvement, press 2. Thanks everyone. Now let's get started. Number 1. The hidden danger of sugary breakfast cereals. Mrs. Evelyn, 72, started every morning the same way. She'd pour herself a bowl of her favorite cereal, the kind she'd been eating for years, with a cheerful label and promises like heart healthy or low fat. She'd add a splash of milk, maybe a banana on top, and sit by the window as the sunlight came in. It felt like a gentle start to the day, but over time, Evelyn began noticing something. Her knees were stiffer, her hands ached in the mornings, and even after breakfast, she often felt tired, sometimes even more tired than when she'd first woken up. She never imagined that her beloved breakfast routine might be contributing to her pain and fatigue until her doctor mentioned one simple word: inflammation. For many older adults, sugary breakfast cereals are a hidden source of inflammation. The packaging might say whole grain, fortified with vitamins, or even made for heart health. But the truth is, most commercial cereals, even the ones that appear healthy, are loaded with added sugars and refined carbohydrates. These ingredients cause a sharp spike in blood sugar, followed by a crash that leaves you feeling sluggish, irritable, and craving more sugar. But the effects go beyond energy. Repeated spikes in blood sugar lead to chronic low-grade inflammation, which damages the cells in your body, contributes to joint pain, and increases the risk of serious illnesses like diabetes, heart disease, and cognitive decline. The worst part? This happens quietly. You may not feel the inflammation right away, but over time, your body tells the story. Swelling in your fingers, stiffness in your knees, a foggy mind, or sudden waves of fatigue. It's easy to blame age, but in reality, your breakfast bowl could be part of the problem. Most cereals are made with highly processed grains, stripped of natural fiber and nutrients. What's left is starch that breaks down quickly into sugar, flooding your bloodstream with glucose. Add the sugar that's already been poured in during manufacturing, and you have a perfect recipe for inflammation. Some cereals contain the equivalent of 3 to 6 teaspoons of sugar in a single serving, and that's before adding any fruit or sweetened milk. For someone over 60, that kind of sugar hit can overwhelm the body's ability to regulate blood sugar efficiently. It's especially dangerous for seniors whose metabolism has naturally slowed down and who may already be dealing with chronic conditions like arthritis, high blood pressure, or type 2 diabetes. When you feed inflammation every morning, you're not giving your body a fighting chance to heal. Instead, you're adding fuel to a fire that's already burning quietly beneath the surface. But the good news is, there's a better way, and it starts with awareness. When Evelyn swapped out her sugary cereal for a small bowl of steel-cut oats with cinnamon and berries, she was skeptical at first. It didn't have the same sweetness, and it took a little more effort to prepare. But after a week, she noticed her knees were less swollen. She didn't feel that late morning crash anymore. And by the end of the month, her doctor was surprised to see a noticeable improvement in her blood sugar numbers, without any medication change. "I didn't know breakfast could do that much," she said, "but now I can feel the difference. Cereal might be fast and familiar, but if it's filled with sugar and processed grains, it may be robbing you of strength, clarity, and comfort. You deserve better." Your mornings should build you up, not break you down. So next time you reach for that cereal box, take a moment to read the label. Look for added sugars, ingredients you don't recognize, and long lists of artificial flavors or preservatives. Then ask yourself, is this helping me heal, or is it holding me back? In the next part of the video, we'll look at another common breakfast food that seems harmless but can spike inflammation and sap your energy: white bread, toast, and bagels. You may be surprised at how these soft and fluffy favorites could be weighing your body down. Number 2, white bread, toast, and bagels. Empty carbs, big problems. For Mr. James, age 74, breakfast had always been simple. A slice or two of white toast, maybe a toasted bagel with butter or jam, and a cup of coffee. It was quick, familiar, and easy to make. It gave him something to chew on while he read the paper and eased into his day. He didn't think much about it. It wasn't sugary cereal or donuts, so it had to be okay, right? But what he didn't realize was that white bread and bagels are some of the most inflammatory breakfast foods out there, especially for older adults trying to maintain their strength, balance, and overall health. White bread and bagels may not taste sweet, but your body treats them almost like sugar. That's because they're made from refined white flour, a highly processed ingredient that's been stripped of its natural fiber, vitamins, and nutrients. Without fiber to slow digestion, these refined carbs break down quickly into glucose in your bloodstream, causing blood sugar to spike rapidly. This sudden rise, followed by an inevitable crash, is hard on your body, especially your joints, your energy levels, and your ability to heal. The impact of these blood sugar swings isn't just about how you feel in the moment. Over time, they create a state of chronic, low-level inflammation, which damages tissues throughout the body, from the lining of your blood vessels to the cartilage in your knees. If you've ever felt extra stiff after breakfast, experienced bloating, or had a sudden drop in energy mid-morning, there's a good chance your meal, and particularly your bread, had something to do with it. For seniors, this kind of inflammation is especially dangerous. It increases the risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, joint pain, and even cognitive decline. What's worse is that white bread and bagels are often viewed as harmless because they're so common. They're easy to toast, easy to spread, and easy to eat, especially when appetite is low or chewing is harder. But easy doesn't always mean healthy. In fact, for older adults, these processed carbohydrates can slowly erode your health, especially when they become a daily habit. Mr. James started to take notice after he began waking up with stiff hands and aching hips. His blood pressure was creeping up, and his doctor suggested watching his carbohydrate intake. At first, he was resistant. He'd eaten toast for decades without a problem. But when he took a closer look at his routine, he realized most of his morning meal had no real nutrients, just empty calories that left him feeling more tired and more inflamed. He decided to experiment. Instead of white toast, he switched to a slice of sprouted grain bread, paired with mashed avocado and a sprinkle of pepper. He added a boiled egg on the side and drank warm water with lemon instead of sugary juice. The difference was subtle at first, but within 2 weeks, his morning stiffness eased, his digestion improved, and his energy felt more even throughout the day. "I still miss the bagels sometimes," he admitted, "but I like the way I feel more." The truth is, you don't have to give up bread altogether. What matters is choosing whole grains, the kind that still have fiber, B vitamins, and nutrients that nourish your body instead of inflaming it. Fiber slows down digestion, balances blood sugar, and feeds the healthy bacteria in your gut, which also helps reduce inflammation. Sprouted grain bread, oatmeal, and whole grain English muffins are all better choices that provide structure to your breakfast without the crash. Your breakfast should give your body strength, not sap it. White bread and bagels might seem harmless, but they're often at the root of morning fatigue, inflammation, and chronic pain. The good news, changing them out for better options is easy, and the benefits can be felt almost immediately. In the next section, we'll dive into another beloved breakfast favorite that's causing more harm than most people realize. Processed meats like bacon and sausage. They may taste good, but what they're doing inside your body is anything but helpful. Number 3, processed meats like bacon and sausage. For many older adults, the smell of sizzling bacon or sausage in the morning brings back warm memories of family breakfasts, weekend traditions, or comforting routines from earlier years. Mr. Walter, 77, used to look forward to his plate of crispy bacon and eggs every Sunday morning. It was his little ritual, something that made him feel grounded. But as time passed, Walter began noticing more stiffness in his joints, a persistent pressure in his chest, and unexpected swings in his energy. His doctor warned him that inflammation could be making his symptoms worse. And when they reviewed his diet, one culprit stood out clearly: processed meats like bacon and sausage. While these breakfast staples may be rich in flavor and nostalgia, they're also loaded with substances that fuel inflammation in the body. Bacon, sausage, and other cured or smoked meats are considered processed meats, meaning they've been preserved using methods such as salting, curing, smoking, or adding chemical preservatives like nitrates and nitrites. These compounds don't just keep the meat shelf stable, they can trigger oxidative stress and inflammation in the body, especially when consumed regularly. Studies have shown that frequent consumption of processed meats is linked to a higher risk of heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, and even cognitive decline, conditions that disproportionately affect older adults. One of the biggest issues with these meats is their high content of saturated fat and sodium. Saturated fat raises levels of LDL cholesterol, the kind that clogs arteries and increases cardiovascular risk. For seniors with high blood pressure, kidney issues, or heart problems, the sodium levels in just a couple of slices of bacon or one sausage patty can easily exceed recommended daily limits. This leads to water retention, swelling in the legs and hands, and more stress on the heart. But even beyond fat and salt, processed meats also contain advanced glycation end products, AGEs, harmful compounds formed during high-temperature cooking, which are known to contribute to chronic inflammation and tissue damage. What makes this especially tricky for seniors is that bacon and sausage are often seen as easy sources of protein. And while protein is essential, especially after age 60, the quality of that protein matters. Protein that comes with inflammatory baggage, like preservatives, additives, and excessive saturated fat, does more harm than good. Instead of supporting your muscles, it leaves your body fighting off unnecessary stress. Mr. Walter didn't want to give up his morning tradition altogether, but he was willing to try a change. His daughter suggested switching to lean turkey sausage with no nitrates, grilled instead of fried, and only once a week instead of daily. On other days, he replaced the meat with a boiled egg or a plant-based protein like avocado and hummus toast. At first, he missed the flavor, but within 3 weeks, he noticed his hands weren't as swollen, his morning walks felt easier, and his blood pressure started trending downward. What surprised him most was that a small change brought such noticeable results. It's not about cutting out every food you love. It's about choosing the ones that love your body back, the ones that help reduce inflammation instead of adding to it. If you truly enjoy sausage or bacon, look for options labeled "no nitrates added," lower in sodium, and made from leaner meats. But remember that these should be occasional indulgences, not everyday fuel. Your body deserves better, especially first thing in the morning. Inflammation is like a hidden tide, slowly wearing away at your foundation. And while you can't always feel it, the food you eat can either calm that tide or make it rise. In the next section, we'll take a look at a group of foods that often hide behind a healthy label, but may be quietly contributing to inflammation. Flavored yogurts and breakfast bars. What you're about to learn may surprise you. Number 4, flavored yogurts and breakfast bars. Mrs. Linda, 69, had always thought she was making smart choices. When her doctor told her to eat lighter in the mornings, she traded in her toast and sausage for a small cup of flavored yogurt and a breakfast bar. It felt like a healthier option. Convenient, not too heavy, and labeled with words like low fat, high protein, and made with real fruit. But after a few months of this routine, she started feeling more bloated in the mornings, and her energy seemed to crash by mid-morning. Her joints felt stiffer, and she was more forgetful than usual. Confused, she began to wonder, how could something that looks so healthy make me feel worse? The answer lies in what's hiding beneath the label. Many flavored yogurts and breakfast bars are heavily marketed as health foods, especially to older adults trying to eat clean or light. But in reality, these products often contain high amounts of added sugars, artificial flavors, preservatives, and low-quality ingredients that fuel inflammation rather than fight it. While yogurt and bars can be part of a healthy diet, the kind that comes in colorful packaging with sweet dessert-like flavors often delivers more sugar than nutrition, sometimes as much sugar as a slice of cake or a can of soda. The problem with this kind of sugar is not just the empty calories, it's how it affects the body. When you eat sugary yogurt or a sweetened breakfast bar first thing in the morning, your blood sugar spikes quickly. That spike is followed by a crash, which leaves you feeling tired, moody, and craving more sugar to bring your energy back up. This daily cycle of sugar highs and lows creates a ripple effect in your body, increasing inflammation, stressing your metabolism, and leading to long-term issues like insulin resistance, joint pain, brain fog, and weakened immunity. Flavored yogurts also tend to contain thickeners and stabilizers like carrageenan and modified cornstarch, which may irritate the gut lining in some individuals and contribute to digestive discomfort or bloating. And many breakfast bars, even those labeled as healthy, are little more than candy bars with a few oats thrown in. They're often made with refined grains, vegetable oils high in omega-6 fats, and syrups that strain your liver and inflame your tissues. Mrs. Linda was surprised when her nutritionist helped her break down the label of her favorite strawberry yogurt. It had 18 grams of sugar, more than 4 teaspoons, and ingredients she couldn't even pronounce. Her breakfast bar wasn't much better, filled with glucose syrup, soy protein isolate, and palm oil. No wonder I felt like I needed a nap an hour after breakfast, she said. The good news is, there are easy swaps that don't require giving up flavor or convenience. Linda switched to plain Greek yogurt, adding her own berries and a sprinkle of cinnamon for natural sweetness. Instead of a processed bar, she started preparing small containers of nuts, seeds, and apple slices the night before. Not only did her digestion improve, but she noticed less stiffness in her hands and more energy throughout the day. It took a little getting used to, she admitted, but now I feel lighter, clearer, and more in control of my mornings. The truth is, many products that seem healthy on the outside are anything but. For older adults, especially those already dealing with inflammation-related conditions like arthritis or high blood sugar, these choices matter more than ever. Choosing whole, unprocessed foods, even simple ones, can go a long way in protecting your joints, improving your clarity, and giving your body the calm it needs to heal and thrive. In the next section, we'll take a closer look at another sneaky source of inflammation found in many quick breakfasts: instant oatmeal packets with added flavors. They may seem harmless, but they could be setting you up for a painful and sluggish day. Number 5. Instant oatmeal packets with added flavors. Mr. George, 71, thought he had found the perfect breakfast solution: quick, warm, and easy to digest. Every morning, he tore open a flavored instant oatmeal packet, poured in some hot water, stirred it up, and ate it while reading the news. It was apple cinnamon one day, maple brown sugar the next. It felt comforting, and he believed it was doing his body good. After all, oatmeal was supposed to be healthy, right? But despite his efforts to eat better, George noticed his blood sugar levels weren't improving, his belly felt more bloated, and his knees were often sore before lunchtime. It wasn't until a dietitian reviewed the ingredient list of his favorite oatmeal packets that George began to understand. Not all oatmeal is created equal. While oatmeal can be one of the healthiest breakfast options for older adults, the instant flavored varieties found in most grocery store aisles are often heavily processed and loaded with added sugars, artificial flavors, and sodium. These ingredients take something naturally anti-inflammatory, whole oats, and turn it into a product that spikes blood sugar and promotes inflammation, especially when eaten daily. For seniors already struggling with arthritis, joint pain, type 2 diabetes, or fatigue, this type of breakfast can do more harm than good. The problem lies in how these packets are made. To cut down on cooking time, manufacturers use quick cooking or pre-cooked oats, which are broken down into smaller pieces and stripped of much of their natural fiber. Without that fiber, the oats digest quickly, much like white bread, causing blood sugar to rise rapidly. Then come the added sugars, which can range anywhere from 10 to 18 grams per packet, depending on the flavor. That's like dumping 3 to 5 teaspoons of sugar into your bowl before you even add fruit or milk. Some versions even contain corn syrup solids, artificial sweeteners, or caramel coloring, ingredients that sound more like a dessert recipe than a health food. For seniors trying to eat better, it's easy to be misled by labels that say heart healthy or made with whole grain oats. But when those oats are buried under layers of sugar and chemicals, the anti-inflammatory benefits are lost. What's left is a meal that may taste sweet and familiar, but leaves you feeling tired, inflamed, and nutritionally empty. Mr. George was surprised when he made the switch to old-fashioned rolled oats. At first, it took longer to cook, about 5 minutes on the stovetop instead of 1 in the microwave, but the difference was worth it. He added his own sliced banana or berries, a pinch of cinnamon, and a drizzle of almond butter for richness. Not only did the flavor improve, but so did his energy. He no longer experienced the mid-morning crash that came with the sugar spike. After a month of making the change, his blood sugar numbers improved, his doctor reduced one of his medications, and George said he felt less puffy in his joints, lighter and more mobile. The takeaway here is simple. Just because something says oatmeal doesn't mean it's healthy. For seniors looking to reduce inflammation, protect their heart, and maintain steady energy, it's crucial to avoid the flavored instant varieties and instead choose whole oats you prepare yourself. They're more affordable, more nourishing, and better for your digestion and blood sugar control. And when flavored naturally, with cinnamon, chopped nuts, or fresh fruit, they're just as comforting without the downside. In the next section, we'll take a closer look at a breakfast item many people think of as refreshing and nutritious, but which can actually be hiding high levels of sugar and cause hidden inflammation: fruit juices. What you'll learn might change the way you pour your next glass. Number 6, fruit juices, not as healthy as you think. Mrs. Joan, 75, had always started her day with a tall glass of orange juice. It was a habit going back decades, one that felt fresh, wholesome, and energizing. "It's full of vitamin C," she used to say proudly, believing it gave her immune system a morning boost. She'd pair the juice with toast or cereal and head into her day feeling like she was doing something good for her body. But in recent years, Joan noticed that her energy would crash mid-morning. Her knees ached more, and her blood sugar levels were creeping higher despite eating what she thought was a healthy breakfast. It wasn't until she began learning more about inflammation and hidden sugars that she realized her beloved morning juice might be playing a quiet but damaging role. Fruit juice, especially store-bought varieties, is one of the most misunderstood health foods out there, particularly among seniors who grew up hearing that a glass of juice was part of a balanced breakfast. But the truth is, most juices are highly processed, stripped of fiber, and packed with natural and added sugars that cause sharp blood sugar spikes. Even 100% fruit juice, while free from added sweeteners, lacks the fiber found in whole fruits that help slow the absorption of sugar. Without fiber, juice hits the bloodstream fast, overwhelming your system and leading to the very inflammation many older adults are trying to avoid. A single 8-ounce glass of orange juice contains about 22 grams of sugar. That's more than 5 teaspoons in one serving. Apple juice can be even higher. And juice blends or fruit cocktails, marketed as antioxidant-rich, often contain added corn syrup or concentrates that are even worse. When you drink these juices on an empty stomach, like many do at breakfast, it leads to a rapid increase in blood glucose, followed by a crash that leaves you feeling sluggish, irritable, and craving more food. But beyond the energy roller coaster, this constant sugar spike fuels low-grade inflammation, which can worsen arthritis, increase blood pressure, and contribute to heart disease and cognitive decline. What makes juice particularly sneaky is that it sounds healthy. It has fruit on the label, often comes in packaging with the words natural, immune support, or vitamin-enriched, and it's widely recommended, especially in hospitals, nursing homes, and care settings. But for seniors whose bodies process sugar less efficiently and who may already be managing blood sugar, joint pain, or fatigue, juice is rarely the friend it appears to be. When Mrs. Jones switched from orange juice to water with lemon or a cup of herbal tea, she noticed something within days. Her mornings felt steadier. She didn't crash mid-morning, and her joints weren't as stiff by the time she went out for her daily walk. After a month, she realized she didn't even miss the juice, and her doctor was pleased to see her blood sugar numbers stabilize. She still enjoys fruit, but now she eats whole slices of orange or apple, getting the full benefit of the fiber, vitamins, and natural chewing process that helps signal satiety and digestion. That's the key difference: eating whole fruit versus drinking juice. When you eat an orange, your body receives not just the vitamin C and sweetness, but also the pulp and fiber that slow digestion and support gut health. You feel fuller longer, and your blood sugar stays steadier. But when you drink juice, it's like pouring concentrated sugar straight into your bloodstream, and your body responds with inflammation and fatigue. So while juice may be colorful and convenient, it's often not the healthy start to the day that seniors are led to believe. Water, herbal teas, or even warm lemon water can hydrate and refresh without the negative side effects. And if you still want that fruit flavor, adding a few fresh slices of citrus or berries to your water can create a naturally infused drink that feels satisfying without overloading your system. In the next section, we'll shift away from what to avoid and talk about what you should be eating instead. We'll explore simple anti-inflammatory breakfast swaps that not only taste great, but support your joints, energy, and clarity every single day. Number 7, healthier breakfast swaps that fight inflammation. After years of struggling with joint stiffness, energy crashes, and digestive discomfort, Mrs. Helen, 78, decided it was time for a change. Her mornings used to begin with sugary cereal, a slice of white toast, and a glass of juice, all foods that felt comforting and familiar. But after learning more about inflammation and how certain breakfast habits were quietly harming her health, she began to reimagine her plate. What she discovered wasn't just a better way to eat, it was a better way to feel. By swapping just a few common breakfast foods for anti-inflammatory alternatives, Helen found that her body felt lighter, her mind clearer, and her mood steadier. When it comes to reducing inflammation, the key is choosing whole, natural foods that nourish your body without overloading it with sugar, additives, or refined carbs. One of Helen's favorite new habits was trading her instant-flavored oatmeal for a warm bowl of old-fashioned rolled oats. She would cook it slowly, stirring in cinnamon, chia seeds, and fresh blueberries. Not only did it taste comforting and familiar, but it also provided fiber, antioxidants, and healthy fats, all of which work together to calm inflammation and support digestion. Instead of reaching for white toast or a processed bagel, Helen began to enjoy sprouted grain bread or whole-grain English muffins. She would top them with mashed avocado, a sprinkle of flax seeds, or even a boiled egg for extra protein. These simple swaps gave her longer-lasting energy without the blood sugar crash, and they helped her feel fuller throughout the morning reducing the temptation to snack on sugary treats before lunch. For protein, instead of processed breakfast meats like bacon or sausage, Helen discovered she could enjoy a boiled egg, a scoop of unsweetened Greek yogurt, or even a small handful of nuts with her meal. These foods provided clean, anti-inflammatory protein that supported her muscles and bones, without the hidden chemicals and saturated fats that came with processed meats. One of the biggest changes Helen made was giving up her daily glass of fruit juice. At first, this was difficult. It had been part of her breakfast routine for over 40 years, but she replaced it with warm lemon water and occasionally a cup of herbal tea with a slice of orange or fresh mint. Within a week, she noticed less bloating and stiffness in her hands. Within a month, her digestion had improved, and her blood sugar readings were lower. "It was hard at first," she said, "but now I can't imagine going back." Another unexpected joy came from meal preparation. Helen started setting aside 5 minutes each evening to prepare small containers of sliced fruit, overnight oats, or boiled eggs, so that her mornings would be smoother. This new habit helped her feel more organized and more connected to her health. She no longer felt like she was guessing what to eat. She had a plan, and her body thanked her for it. These kinds of swaps don't require you to become a chef or change everything overnight. They're about small, consistent choices that align with what your body needs most after age 60. Stability, gentleness, and nourishment. When you replace high sugar, processed, or inflammatory foods with real, whole ingredients, you give your body the chance to reset. You reduce the internal noise caused by inflammation and make room for healing, for clearer thinking, easier movement, and a calmer digestive system. Helen's story is not unusual. Across the country, many older adults are learning that what you eat for breakfast can shape how you feel the entire day. By choosing anti-inflammatory options, they're not just preventing disease, they're reclaiming energy, joy, and independence in their daily lives. In the final section of this video, we'll tie everything together and look at why breakfast matters so much, especially in later life, and how making the right choices each morning can lead to a stronger, clearer, more vibrant version of you, one bite at a time. Conclusion. If there's one thing we've learned today, it's that the way we start our mornings matters, far more than we might think. For many seniors, breakfast has become a habit of convenience or comfort. A quick bowl of cereal, a slice of toast, maybe some juice or a breakfast bar. These choices feel easy, familiar, and harmless. But as we've seen, many of these common breakfast staples are quietly working against us, fueling inflammation, spiking blood sugar, and leaving the body weaker and more vulnerable over time. The aches in your joints, the fog in your brain, the crash of energy before noon. They may not be just age. They may be the result of what you're putting on your plate each morning. Inflammation is a silent threat. It builds slowly, often unnoticed, but over time it affects nearly every system in your body, from your heart and blood vessels to your digestive tract, brain, and bones. And while medications can help manage the effects, what we eat every day plays a much bigger role than most people realize. The good news is that, unlike many things we face as we get older, this is something we can control. Every bite you take is a choice, a chance to feed your body or fight against it. When you replace processed, sugary breakfast with whole, nourishing foods, you're not just changing your diet. You're changing the way your body functions. You reduce stress on your joints, ease the workload on your heart, and support your brain in staying alert and clear. You help stabilize your blood sugar and improve your digestion. And more than anything, you give yourself the gift of feeling better, more balanced, more energized, more you. You don't need to become a health expert to do this. You don't need to count every calorie or follow a complicated plan. What you need is awareness and the willingness to make small, steady swaps. Choose old-fashioned oats instead of instant packets. Pick a boiled egg and whole grain toast instead of sugary cereal and white bread. Drink water with lemon or herbal tea instead of fruit juice. Add healthy fats like avocado or nuts. Choose plain yogurt with berries instead of flavored cups packed with sugar. These are small changes, but over time, they build into something powerful. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. And progress at any age is possible. It's never too late to give your body what it needs to thrive. In fact, the beauty of being older is that you finally have the wisdom to listen to your body, to recognize how food makes you feel, and to choose what supports your long-term well-being. You've lived through decades of change, of lessons, of growth. Let breakfast be a new chapter, one that fuels you, heals you, and honors all the years your body has carried you. So tomorrow morning, pause before you pour the cereal or reach for that bagel. Ask yourself, will this feed inflammation or fight it? Will this breakfast help me feel clearer, lighter, and more alive? Or will it leave me tired and sore? You deserve mornings that nourish, not drain. You deserve a life that's not weighed down by unnecessary pain, fatigue, or disease. Let your new breakfast routine be an act of care, not just for your health, but for your independence, your joy, and your future. You've come this far. Let's make every morning a fresh start, one bite at a time. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and haven't yet liked and subscribed, now is the perfect time to do so. It really helps our channel grow and reach more people who need this kind of helpful content. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll always know when a new video is up. Your support truly means the world to us. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.